Hey everyone, Jake here for American Muscle, and in this video we're taking a look at the BMR twin tube design front strut tower brace in black hammer tone, fitting 2015 to 2023 Hemi Chargers without shaker hoods, also excluding 6.2 liter Hemis. If you're looking to improve your Charger's handling without spending a ton of money or time on it, then this strut brace is going to be for you. BMR has engineered a really strong strut bar here that will provide your car with a lot more stability and a lot less flex for improved response and handling. Strut tower braces are a popular modification amongst enthusiasts, and for good reason. They're not expensive, they're easy to install, and they can make a noticeable difference in stability and handling, especially when you've got a chassis that likes to flex like the ones on these Chargers do. This is going to provide another brace point for the front end in a critical area. So by connecting the strut towers up front, it reduces chassis flex and it improves handling by keeping things more connected and stable. And if you've driven any of these LH platform cars, you know that the chassis is old and has quite a bit of flex to it. So when you turn the wheel or throw it into a corner, the chassis of the car isn't going to flex as much with this installed. So it's going to keep your wheels and tires and your suspension in better alignment, thus improving handling. Now, a lot of strut tower braces are small and thin, or just one piece that goes all the way across, but that's not the case here. This thing is beefy, and when you pick it up, you can feel just how beefy it is. Again, as the name implies, you get a twin tube design here for added strength, and those tubes are connected not just via the mounting plates, but via this brace in the center with the cool BMR logo laser cut out of it. Now the plates are also reinforced on the outer edges, as you can see here, so this thing is really strong and should make a pretty good difference in the overall chassis stability. This whole thing is constructed using 1.5 inch steel tubing and 3/16 inch steel plates on the sides. The bracing here is also made from steel and laser cut, and everything is topped off with this really cool black hammer tone finish. And this not only helps the material underneath resist rust and corrosion, but it also gives you a nice little visual pop under the hood. And this is a fully bolt-in mod as well, but we'll talk more about that momentarily. Pricing for this one is going to come in at about $325, and that makes it pretty much the most affordable option in the category. So it's a good value, especially for the dynamic improvement that it can make. And also, it's just going to look pretty darn cool when you pop your hood. The good news continues here as we talk about the installation. We're going to give this a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should only take you about 1 hour to complete. Now, like I mentioned a few moments ago, this is a totally bolt-in modification as well. You just need to undo the strut tower nuts at the top, put the brace in its spot, and bolt everything back in. You even get new nuts in the kit if you want to use those. Now, you won't be able to run your engine cover with this one though, and on 2021 and 2022 models, be sure to check for clearance between the EVAP line that runs at the back of the intake manifold to make sure you have proper clearance with this part of the bar. But you should only have to make a minor adjustment and no real modifications here, so this is a pretty simple job to complete and it can be easily reversed should you need to do so. With that though, let's hand things over to one of our AM customers who's going to walk you through the install process.
Hey, what's up y'all? I'm going to be showing you today how to install the BMR strut tower bar. This is the front, as in the one that goes in the engine bay. Right out of the box, you're going to be looking for two things, only two things. The strut tower bar itself, and then the replacement hardware that they provide along with some information and the sticker. But yeah, just this little bag right here, and then the strut tower bar itself. This should fit on any 15 to 23 V8 Charger. Check fitment on Challenger, but yeah, it should be for the 5.7s and the 6.4s. Not the shaker hoods. But yeah, pretty easy install. You're going to need just something to pry off the covers that are at the strut tower. It's like the plastic covers. I'll show you once we get to the engine bay. You're going to gently take those off. It doesn't really matter. This is a screwdriver. This is just what I'm going to use. And then you're going to need a ratchet or a wrench. Make sure it's 13 millimeters. With a 13 millimeter socket. Just make it easier for yourself than using a wrench. But yeah, those are all the tools you're going to need. Something to pry off, and then a ratchet or a wrench. 13 millimeters. Also, I just thought about something. You're going to need a mallet to kind of love tap the bar into there, because the main issue when installing this, it's not a huge issue, but you kind of have to. You can fit it on one side and the screws will go in, but then you kind of have to handle it to kind of get it into the screws. I'll show you more once we get there. You're going to be removing these two covers right here. Like I said, You're just gonna be prying them off. There's a little inlet right here. If you look over here, there's a little hole where you can apply your little tool to pry things off. I verified upon further inspection that using this screwdriver would be too thick. So get something thinner, like along the thickness of this, to you know, get into there and apply some pressure. All right, so again, I'm taking the little prior and I'm just applying some light pressure. Yeah, I already tried prying mine off earlier, which is why it's coming off so easy. But yeah, just light pressure, you just take it off. And you have 3 screws that your OEM came with. Let me see if you can see that well. This is what the cover looks like, just like that. All right. Yeah, this is what it'll look like. Sorry, it's so dirty. But yeah, you have the 3 screws, and then you have the strut tower itself. This is where your suspension is coming out of. But yeah, so we're gonna do the same thing on that side over there. I'm gonna do that real quick. It's got little holes right here and right here. I'm just gonna come in over here. I'm just gonna apply light pressure, just nice and. Yep, there you go. Just gently, don't break anything. Again, this is what the cover looks like. Just like that. And then I already showed you what this looks like. Next step is to go ahead and take off the 13mm nuts that are right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that right now. Let's see, how well can you see that? Yeah, so just apply your 13mm socket to these. Let me see. Oh yeah, I was tightening them. Yeah, so be very careful when you're working with this. I'm sure you know this, but you should probably be careful about dropping these into the engine bay. You don't want to do that. All right, once you loosen it, this is what it looks like. Just like the ones that, like pretty much the same as the ones that our BMR strut tower bar came with, but just a little less quality. Basically, just the OEM ones. I'm just gonna put them right here so that they don't fall, so that I know where they are. Gently unscrew them. Be careful not to drop this shit in the engine bay. I've done it too many times, you know. And just loosen them just like that. Just like that. Yeah. And then we're gonna do the same on the other side. Okay, we're now on the other side. I'm just gonna do the same thing as before. Again, be careful not to drop anything in the engine bay. Just lightly. Yeah. Like that. Okay, that can come off with the hand. Okay, yeah, I'm just putting them right there. This is what they look like. We're gonna put them right there. Just loosen them. Yep, there we go. Okay, yep, it's good. Same thing here. Okay, there we go. Yep, I put them all there. Okay, now it's time to apply the strut tower itself on, like the strut tower brace bar, onto what we just removed. Okay, so grabbing my strut tower bar here, I'm gonna go ahead and try a couple of things. I saw a couple of different methods to do this, but so first things first, just get it on one side. I'm trying the passenger side right now. As you can see right there, it's fitting just fine. But then over here, like in other installation videos, you'll see it's almost there actually. It's a lot more in line than I thought. Usually I see videos where it's like, you know, it's not even lined up. In this case, I could probably, oh, wow. There it is. Okay, so I guess I got lucky, dude, and it just fit pretty easily. It just kind of, you know, it just fit right in. I didn't even have to make any adjustments or anything. What you want to make sure is that this part right here is like, it's snug with the rest of the engine bay. You want to make sure that it's lined up with your with your car, because otherwise if you screw this in and it's not, you know, and it's not all the way in, you might mess up the threading of the screws that are coming out. But yeah, I wish I could show you essentially, because I know that some of you are not going to have it as easy. I guess to make it simple for you, if you put it in on this side and then over there it's not fitting, just use a mallet and just kind of lightly, I'll just like, you know, just you know, knock it from whatever side you need to knock it. And then if that's not working, I've seen other guys put it on the other side, like, you know, they tried it on this side, they put it on the other side, and then they try to do it on this side, basically. And it works better for them. But yeah, essentially just kind of play around with it, you know, move it around, see what you can do. What might help is like if whenever you do it on the other side, like if you come over here, you put it on this side, put the screws on, and put the bolts on, basically. I'm gonna use the OEM ones for right now, just to kind of give you an example. But just put them on there and then hand tighten them. Just hand tighten them. Don't tighten them with like all the way. Just hand tighten them and then put it on the other side. But again, that was easy for me. But I just kind of wanted to give you instructions for you in case your engine bay makes it a little harder for you to put it on there. But yeah, now that we have this on, we can just apply the new OEM nuts, bolts. All right, they taped it pretty good on there, so I had to kind of rip things up. But yeah, so you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 3 and 3, right? Pretty straightforward. You have these. They look a little better. They have better threading. I recommend using these instead of the ones that come OEM because they have better threading, better grip. Not a huge deal, but just something to keep in mind. Okay. I'm gonna leave these at the front of the engine bay over here so that they don't end up getting dropped or anything like that. In fact, I'm gonna grab the 3 that I'm working with. I'm putting them over here. And again, we can just hand tighten over here. Yep, I'm just gonna apply them real quick, just kind of put them on there. Yep, just hand tighten them. So I just hand tighten them on here. Now I'm gonna come over to this side. Before I do that, actually, I wanna show you what I did here. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I just took the screws. I'll take one out real quick just so I show you. You know, I took it, put it right in there. Just, okay, yep, there we go. Yep, and then we just screw that on there with your hand. Before you tighten it with the 13mm socket, you want to do it on the other side too. I'd like to think that I gave pretty clear instructions, but just in case I didn't. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So again, I'm taking the new ones that we got. These right here. Oh, yep, okay. And then we just gently applying them on there. Again, I already made sure that this was flush, nice and aligned with my engine bay. I got lucky. But yeah, so I'm just putting them on there, just like that. There we go. Just hand tighten them, just like that. Okay, very good, yeah. And now, you just gotta take your socket and do the same thing. And now we're just going to take our 13mm socket and then just carefully tighten these. Yeah, you want to make sure that these are tight, presumably. Yep, okay. Notice how I'm keeping it perpendicular with the screw so that I don't strip anything. Just gently tightening this. There we go, it's tightened, there we go. Got to a good amount of tight for every one of the screws. Just wanna make sure that's on there. Yep, there we go. Yep, there we go. It's good, yep. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and do it on the other side. There we go. Just gonna tighten them on here. I'm sure you've worked with, you know, a socket before. Yeah, but just make sure that when, you know, this is pretty important to not strip. So just make sure you don't strip whenever you're tightening these. Gently. Yep. But just tighten that. Yeah, you want to make sure it's tight. So just tighten it on all three. Yep, that's tight. There we go. Okay, good. Yep, and I believe that covers it. Let's go and have a final look at what we're working with here. One detail that is very important when you're tightening down the 6 nuts that we got from the manufacturer is that you read your owner's manual and you check to make sure what the torque rating is for you to tighten it. In my case, it said 30 foot-pounds of torque. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to say for every BMR strut tower, but just tighten it down to 30 foot-pounds of torque with a torque wrench to spec. You need to make sure that you do that. That's very important. Can't be too loose and too tight.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the BMR twin tube design front strut tower brace in black hammertone, fitting 2015 to 2023 Hemi Chargers without shaker hoods, also excluding 6.2 liter Hemis. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Charger, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.